Muse. I'm glad that I can invite you into my humble office where you and I can have yet another discussion. And I have a doozy for you today, so sit back, grab your favorite cup of whatever, and let's chat. I want to preface this conversation by saying this does not come from a place of ego or arrogance. I'm not patting myself on the back, nor am I pointing the finger of shame at anyone. This comes from a place of observation, of many years of observation, and the eventual conclusion that could be drawn from those observations. So, with that in mind, I also want to say that this is inspired by that timeless idea of finding your audience. Now, I've talked about this extensively, but I have come to realize that there's a more important aspect of finding your audience, and that is knowing your audience. Now, let me explain how that affects me and you, because this really does directly affect you. Actually, indirectly affects you, I suppose, but as it were. When I first started writing in the world of apocalyptic fiction, that was about 7 years ago, maybe longer. I inserted myself into that genre at a time where the audience had grown kind of weary of the same old plots regurgitated and the same old characters and ideas. And the audience wanted something more, wanted something deeper. And I know this of myself. I know that the narratives that I write tend to be a bit more complex, and my prose tends to very often veer a little towards poetry. And some readers like that, and some readers don't. But at the time, when I first started writing in that genre, people wanted it. They liked the idea of something a bit more complex, and the voice that I brought to the genre was something that they hadn't exactly read in that way. I mean, that's where my preface comes in, at least part of it. And so I wrote I, Zombie I, and the readers loved it, and they gobbled it up. And many of the reviews talked about how intelligent it was, and refreshing in its intelligence, and even plausible in its reality. And I was fairly certain that once I really got into the meat of that series, it was going to be a massive hit. And as the years went on, and the fans of the series continued to love the series, and even saying that with every book it got better and better, I found that fewer and fewer people were indulging in the series. And that led to the last book I published in the series, By Zombie By, which has not done very well. And which is ironic, considering all of the beta readers and the proofreaders and my editors said that it was the best in the series. But that's beside the point. Now, everything in nature is cyclical. Even our artistic penchants are cyclical. You can even look at television. It's the same thing. At 1 minute, a black and white noir is all the rage. And you have to forgive me, my cat is at his scratching post below the table, Muse, so he's making a little bit of a noise. And right now, for instance, the superhero genre is all the rage. And at some point, that's going to change. It's going to go away, and something else will take its place. The standard nighttime soap opera will come back. Who knows? Who knows what will be next? The single camera comedy. Who knows? But it'll go away, and something will take its place. And then eventually it'll come back. And so what I'm finding at this point in time in my career as a writer, that at least within the realm of the apocalyptic fiction, people are going back to where they were before I came into the genre. They are wanting simpler narratives, less elegant prose, and I'm again not doing that. They want something easy to read, and a simple distraction is what they want right now. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the fact that that's not what I write. Because as an artist, we always have to be evolving. Okay? And that does not mean, as an artist, I have to evolve my style, evolve my voice to match what the public wants. That's not the case. Because if that were the case, I would constantly be changing what I was doing and how I did what I did. And by doing that, then I lose that voice that I have worked so hard on for over 20 years. What I mean by is this. What I mean by that is this. What I mean by this is that. As an artist, we have to know our audience. And right now, the audience, at least within the apocalyptic genre, is not the same audience that I found 5 years ago. So, what I have to do, at least from my perspective, is that I then shift the art, the craft, shift my craft to a genre that better suits my style. And right now, I'm thinking that's like the Reaper series. That perfectly fits what I do. And right now, in that genre, the dystopian, paranormal romance sort of genre, that is what the audience wants. So we have this mutual understanding. So the product that I produce in that genre is the product that the people want. Supply and demand in that genre. Supply and demand in the apocalyptic genre, I can't meet that demand with my particular supply. Over here, I can. And so right now, I shift my focus from the apocalyptic genre over here. Right? And who knows how long that'll last. I might wind up having to come back over here and go back into steampunk, because steampunk is always, my style and steampunk will always gel. So I have this default that I can always go back to, steampunk. Even though it's not a terribly popular genre, it's very niche. Is there such thing as a niche niche? Let's start it. I don't know. But I have to keep my radar tuned in to where the audiences that gravitate toward my style are. And right now, that is not in the apocalyptic genre. As much as I want it to be, because I do love writing in that genre. So I'm going to give that a break. I just finished my story for the Middletown 3 anthology, and then I'm going to give that genre a break. I got to go away from it because people don't want what I have in that genre right now. And I'm just simply not going to change my style to meet the whims of the demand. But eventually, I know it'll come back around. And I can go back to the apocalyptic genre and play in that realm again for a while until the cycle continues. So right now, I'm focused on the Reapers series, and I'm fairly certain that the Daiso Fluid series, I think they want that to be a series. They just read the second book. There's probably going to be some changes. I think I touched on some stuff that's a little too close to home, and they want to change that. But that's great. That's great feedback. And so, yeah, Muse, that's where we are. And I am glad, I'm very thankful for the fact that my eyes are open wide enough that I can see these things happening, and that you and I have such a relationship that we have built this relationship such that I can take it over to another genre and write within that genre. And then when that cycle changes, I can come over here. And I think that it is tantamount to not necessarily monetary success, but artistic success for writers to know their audience, truly know their audience, and know what their audience, know the trends within the genres that they write, and make sure that the trends match their style. Not that their style matches the trends. Because if the trends don't match your style, then you go over and find a trend that does match your style. I hope I haven't confused you too much, Muse. It was just on my mind, and I felt like it was something that I had to say, and say in such a way that you knew that we're simpatico. Is that word still in fashion? Capiche? Capiche? You and I, we got a good thing going, and we're not going to change it. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm sorry, Muse. I've rambled on long enough. Anyway, thank you again for being there with me on this ride. We're going to continue it. Nothing is ever going to stop us.